just few days, the most expensive World Cup in history will be rolling off in Qatar. Yes, the Arab nation, home to slightly less than 3 million inhabitants. In this video, I will take you through what it takes to host a World Cup and in perspective, show you why for 92 years now, Africa has hosted only one of the 18 World Cups. Before we dive into it, please help a brother by subscribing to the channel, like, and comment. Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hosting a World Cup has proven to be more than just economic benefit. Yes, it shows a political and economic might. There is a lot involved in the process of selection of the host, given the high stakes at play. Now, in some cases, huge sum of money have allegedly changed hands through backdoor. Yes, some even believe that some big stars are sometimes chosen to influence the bids or the bid for certain countries to really host World Cup. This year, Qatar is hosting, and it is reported that Qatar has spent in excess 220 billion US dollars to prepare for the showpiece that will long for only a month. Now, South Africa, Brazil, Russia, they also spent 3.6 billion, 15 billion, and 11.6 billion respectively for the 2010, 2014, 2018 World Cup. That shows you how mighty this tournament is. The process to bid to host the World Cup begins with FIFA officially opening the bids. Yes, normally for preparation purpose, the process of picking the host has always been completed 6 years prior to the tournament. After opening the bids, the interested countries will form their bid committee, yes, and then submit their completed expression of interest to FIFA, who in return issue a registration form with the requirement for hosting the World Cup. Now, the member association return the forms with a relevant supporting document. FIFA then distributes the bidding and hosting agreement for the nations, of course, to sign and submit together with their bid book. Yes, a detailed document. FIFA, upon receiving this, will then send a delegation to inspect the requirement in these countries. In fact, the process to choose the host for the Russia 2018 and Qatar 2022 tournament was conducted even between January 2009 and December 2010. The 2026 process, which Canada, Mexico, and the United States won, was conducted between May 2017 and June 2018. But this time, it was decided by the Congress with 203 out of 211 members voting for this united Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Of course, in Africa or from Africa, Morocco also bidded but couldn't win. The biggest cost lies with the host nations, who of course inject relatively huge sums of taxpayers' money to construct stadiums and infrastructure. And this explains why for 92 years, Africa has just hosted one World Cup, yes, which is South Africa 2010. Now, you see, sometimes if you compare the expenses incurred, of course, in organizing a World Cup, it is even more than, the expenses are more than even a financial budget of most African countries. So it is not just, you just wake up and then, okay, I want to organize a World Cup. No, it is not like, okay, how most African countries would just wake up and then go to the IMF and, look for loans. No, it is not as easy as that. Yes. So with this one, you have to have at least the basics, infrastructure, okay, your level of development. Yes. If not, I bet you will never organize the World Cup. Unless maybe you form a united, maybe Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Benin, they can just unite and then bid, okay, to host the World Cup. If not, a particular African country hosting the World Cup is really difficult. Normally, FIFA requires at least a minimum capacity of 40,000 for any stadium, to host a World Cup match of any magnitude. Yes. The stadiums to host the opening and the final match must carry a minimum of 80,000 fans and 60,000 for semi-finals. Yes. Of course, remaining group matches, round of 32, round of 16 can do with 40,000. Yes. For the 32 team tournament, this year, FIFA required a minimum of 12 stadiums. Yes, but because of Qatar's compact nature, they were allowed, to use only 8. Yes, and of course, out of the 8, only one existed even before the nation bidded for the tournament, and it was Khalifa International Stadium. Yes, the rest were built from scratch, costing the oil-rich nation about 10 billion US dollars. This is not a joke. Yes. For the 2026 World Cup, FIFA requires a total of 14 stadiums and 115 training sites, okay, from US, Mexico, and Canada. They will be co-hosting the 2026 World Cup. On accommodation, yes, each team must have at least five-star hotel. And of course, the World Cup attracts millions of fans from across the globe. If you take, the case of Russia, yes, the Russia finals attracted over 3 million fans, while Qatar is projected to sell slightly less than that number. But FIFA requires, the host to provide not less than 60,000 rooms for the fans. And of course, Qatar announced that there will be more than 84,000, yes, with more than half of those constructed purposely for the World Cup. And the country is committed to invest 17 billion US dollars in this project. This is not a joke. Tell me, how is it possible that an African country that we know, can be able to host the World Cup? It's not a joke. We have infrastructure problems in Africa. You see, these are countries that already have their own. They have something. They have done something. They have infrastructure, and they just have to add. Few. Okay, but even the few is more than the financial budget of most African countries. So it is not a joke. Not at all. This is why, up to date, only South Africa has been able to host the World Cup. On transportation, FIFA requires at least an airport that can handle 1,400 passengers per hour near each stadium, and of course, a good road network. However, due to Qatar's size, a total land area of 11,586 square meters, fans and teams will not need to fly to, watch matches. Yes. In fact, the host stadiums are allocated within a radius of 30 kilometers, yes, from each other. Sometimes teams may not even need to change base as they progress in the tournament, even if they shift stadiums. In 2018, Russia reportedly spent 3.4 billion in upgrading their transport network ahead of the 2018 finals. Countries that have hosted the World Cup are Uruguay for the first time, Switzerland, Sweden, Chile, England, Argentina, Spain, USA, Japan, and South Korea joined. Yeah, they co-hosted. South Africa and Russia, they have hosted once. Brazil, France, Italy, Germany, and Mexico, they have also hosted twice. Yes. And the estimated cost of hosting the World Cup since 1990. Yes. South Korea, Japan, 2002, 7 billion US dollars. Germany, 26, 4.6 billion. South Africa, 2010, 3.6 billion US dollars. Brazil, 2014, 15 billion US dollars. And Russia, 2018, 12 billion US dollars. It is not a joke. That is why sometimes we say, oh, why is Africa not hosting much of the World Cup? And it is not, the question is not why is not Africa. When will Africa, okay, put things together to be able to host a World Cup? Yes, that is the question. Even some of the European countries have been bidding. Some have even bidded 4 times, 5 times, and they haven't been able to host the World Cup. Whether it has to do with going backdoor or whether it has to do with infrastructure, all I believe is that you have to be prepared to be able to host the World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Then, what do you think? Do you think it's about time that African countries come together and then bid for the hosting of the World Cup, since individual African countries can cannot, should I say, host the World Cup, considering the expenses involved? Yes, what do you think? Leave your comment in the comment section. Okay, so guys, that will be all for now. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and of course like this video and comment. Yes, this is Sport Corner on Hello Africa. Until we meet again on Saturday in Sport Corner, bye.